Ekonene. So kuna vile Sakaja amekuwa kimake headlines the past 1 week. And neza angalia few of the headlines. Kulikuwa na hii Thursday ya The Standard ilikuwa ni thug bosses. Then The Standard wakaandika, when police marched side by side with rungu wielding goons on Nairobi streets who are coming from Governor Sakaja's City Hall office, some wearing county t-shirts, the line between law enforcer and lawbreaker blurred to nothing. So kuna vile walikuwa wameandika hivyo, hiyo ilikuwa ni The Standard on Thursday. Then on Sunday wakabaki wameandika rogue but free, Governor Sakaja's Johnson has done the unthinkable as the Gen Z movement gears up to mark the anniversary of the bloody June 25 protest. The city teeters on the brink of chaos. Accused of deploying bloodthirsty goons armed with knives and rungus to brutalize supporters, loot businesses, and then swagger to City Hall to pledge loyalty, Sakaja stands at the center of a storm of fear, loyalty, of fear, fury, and betrayal. His critics call him a showman with no direction, a governor who trades civic duty for street muscle and PR stunts. With rogue askaris terrorizing traders and the allegations of a militia masquerading as law enforcement, Nairobi is hurtling towards a full-blown crisis. And Sakaja, like Emperor Nero, may be fiddling while the city burns. Imenikumbusha kuna software kwa natumia kuban CDs back in the days when it was Nero. Je, unajua kuban CD? Okay. Na pia unajua kwa CD inaweza fanya usiban. Okay. That's a story for another day. Wacha to go back to Sakaja. So Sakaja alienda pa release statement, and this was one of those statements zile inaitagwa an insult to people's intelligence. So alibaki release statement alafu I think anafikiria maybe ni 2002, yani 2022 that is, anafikiria kuna watu bado wako impressed na hii bullshit ya dimples and all that nonsense that worked in 2022. Wacha tumsikize.
Of the past few days, I've observed with deep concern the circulation of false, malicious, and politically motivated allegations against me. I would like to say it for the record, and let me be clear and unequivocal. I have never and will never sponsor violence of any kind. My entire political life has been anchored on siasa safi, which upholds human dignity, the rule of law, and the democratic rights of every Kenyan. I have never used violence to gain power, and I never will. My record speaks for itself. These accusations are not only false, they are a desperate attempt by certain well-known individuals whose political careers are marked by violence, by intimidation, by chaos, who have gone as far as to hire goons to come and infiltrate protests and say that I'm the one who sent them.
So, okay, I don't know who's supposed to believe this, that there's this mysterious politician who decided to hire goons and made sure that all these goons were walking around doing the senior Sakaja. And also, these goons who were hired got a chance to hang out na Sakaja. Because nakumbuka kuna ile picha ilikuwa go round ya Gunzi president ama Gunzi king au msanii wa Swale Sonko wakiwa na Sakaja. So I don't know, like who's supposed to believe this statement? Because kuna saa zingine mu understand, like taking advantage of our mothers and our fathers and their limited education and them being easy to fool. You think that's the same thing that's going to happen in the era of technology, where people get information in real time. So tumekuwa tukiona hizi vitu from kuna ule Goon alikuwa anapigwa, then Goon akipigwa akaulizwa like nani alikuwa amemtuma, akasema Sakaja. So kuna watu wanaweza sema that Goon alibaki ameconfess under distress. So there is that element. Ilianza kuwa like confess under distress. But before that, if you were to go back to a day before the protest happened, kulikuwa na the Gunzi president, and the Gunzi president was literally standing next to City Hall aki make threats yena magoons wake. And these are the same people who now on Tuesday unleashed terror on Nairobians. So wacha tucheki, and they literally even talked about City Hall.
Wewe tunawaambia daily bana. Hatutaki mchezo hapa CBD. Hautakuja hapa in the name of maandamano, tunataka kuharibia watu biashara. Tushakuja na tuna patrol. Komanda amepatana na chairman wa Gunzi mwenyewe. Karibu mchezo.
Hii nyumba mtaguza tena venye muliguza.
Na tunasema hivi. Hao wenye wanalipana tutapatana head on head. Hapa lakini mtajua.
Hivi mmesoma mpate kazi, sisi tumesoma ili tujitegemee. Hamwezi pata kazi tu hivyo hivyo. Lazima mpambane. Sisi hatuna mambo mengi. Sisi vile anataka kuja maandamano yake akuje maandamano. Lakini usijaribu kuguza biashara ya Kenya.
So nachiki hapa ama fala alikuwa literally mbele ya City Hall. So ile time tunaambwa Naum say that his political rivals have paid goons for these goons to come and wakuembelea nini yake, like waklemia ndio mawalipa. It could have been very easy for him to release a statement as soon as the video ilitokea, because the video ilitokea a day before. He should have distanced himself from the video. He did not do that. Why? Because he needed these people. Now that they've become a liability, this is when he's deciding that he's going to say that he did not hire them. And amafala kitu moja menibamba nao ni at least they know who pays them, and since they are coming from that old school type of politics, they feel that they need to keep praising him. Acheki kometoka from ile siku za baba moi sasa yuko mlangoni, so umetoka kwa hiyo design. Unajuaga like every politician has to be seafood, oh this that this. So amafala, of course they were committing a crime, and as they commit the crime they were there shouting out whoever had paid them to commit the crime. So kumbuka pia on Wednesday itself, when CBD was inaccessible to peaceful Kenyans, these goons were walking around with their rungu ya Sakaja and passing next to City Hall, of course wakipledge allegiance.
Igwe! Gavana Igwe! Sakaja! Tumelinda jiji! Na tuwaogopi wakuje sasa! Wakuje sasa! Igwe siku zote.
Wewe mwenyewe ukiona random street alafu one ujinga, hata utafikiria the people who started it, who of course haiko ujinga wakifanya. Ngumi ni mbwexes, unajua Bogi Genje, this was their thing. This a-hole of a governor stole this from them without paying them. Now this is now associated with goonery instead of the people that started it, and this would be something that another lawyer, tafadhali joambia Bogi Genje wasiwi ufala. Nacheki ufala ni kusiwiwa. So ufala amerelease statement yake jana, akiclaim vile hakuwa involved in planning this protest, and I understand like planning with these goons. And of course the goons have been beaten. The goons have come out and said yende aliwalipa, yende aliorganize, because hii pesa had to come from somewhere. And the fact that the goons wale wako kwa frontline wanaonekanaga either wakihang out na yeye ama when they're not hanging out with him they do this nonsense. It's rather obvious that he's the one. And then he's on record also pia kitutishia, kituambia vile the first time vile hizi protests zili happen hakuwa ready, but the second time ina happen atakuwa ready. So he was saying that ile time alikuwa na kina ubuda anaitwa nani, alikuwa na ubuda anaitwa Faruk. Unajua Faruk anachukuliwa as the president, so akiwa na Faruk the president alijisifu akatuambia vile mbeleni yako amejipanga, ama yani the deputy president that is, mbeleni yako amejipanga but sasa amejipanga. So there is no way to then turn around and start claiming that you are not involved. So this is the situation sasa tuko left with. Ile Sakaja sasa anataka kujitetea, na kuna wasota baki wameteki nonsense. Unajua kitu moja nishaika mikujojua wa Kenya is we are so gullible. Utapata kuna mse amecome up with this complex like inaitwa nini hiyo conspiracy theory where hasa jalipwa na Sakaja, unakosea Sakaja heshima nini, and this nonsense will keep happening. But I think if you had to ask me, it's the pressure that's come. This guy number one did not expect that magoons watapigwa. So magoons wangeshinda, there is no way, of course tungejua bado ni yeye, but hakuna vile wange confess vile wali confess. But I think even the number one thing ile hakuwa anajua that ama goons wake wengi wao ni wapumbavu. So they are going to do videos kama hiyo Sakaja Igwe tumelinda jiji. So hizo ni vitu wako wana expect. So that was number one. Number two, wako wanafikiri watashikwa na watandikwe. Because time walikuwa wanatandikwa, they had to say who was paying them. And this is the reason why his name ended up kienda juu. Then number three, now when we even got more details of the fact that walikuwa na plan hata kustab madem, ndio baki kila mtu amekuwa against protest. that was another thing that of course didn't go the way he wanted. Then if you are to look at the number 4 reason, they ended up breaking into shops. And after breaking into these shops, where because they were supposed to wadunge watu kadhaa random, wafanye sijui nini, like even one of the people that they robbed, ule buda alirobiwa kwa kona fulani, nasemekana alikuwa nini, anakuwaga ni lawyer, and I don't know if I was him and there was an avenue to sue the governor, I'd sue the governor. That would be a good case. Even if you lose it, it would still put a spotlight on this commander-in-chief of goons. And this commander-in-chief thinks that we are so stupid that we don't remember that just last week, yeye na nani, anaitwa nani, ubuda anaitwa Faruk, walikuwa natutishia wakituambia vile this time watakuwa wamejipanga na this time watabaki wamelinda Nairobi. This is all the nonsense that we knew would happen, and it ended up happening. And apart from that, of course, another thing about the goons is they can never keep quiet. This is one of the things, they'll always tell you your plans. So even before tucheki vile your plans how will happen, kuna ile ufala moja, I think ni nasemekana ni MCA wa Korogosho, and this is another thing that happens with these parties. You end up voting in clowns, and these clowns end up with so much power, and the power gets to their head, and then they can't reason. So when this guy was busy telling us vile wanafaa kupanga, alisema Governor Sakaja, panga vijana, unacheki, na polisi. Alafu nini tuliona vijana na polisi. Na hii ni wase wa ODM wale wana believe saizi wako kwa gava. So since wako kwa gava, everything else about following the law goes to the window. And this is the point that I keep saying. Ule mzee asipongea, this is your legacy, man. Such clowns are your legacy.
Sisi tukatai kijana aliuliwa, lakini huyo Ojwang aliuliwa ndio gari ya mtu ichomwe. Ojwang aliuliwa ndio Nairobi yangamizwe. Sakaja, umepatiwa point. Panga vijana na polisi, ule anakuja kuleta ujinga, tutamenyana.
Mecheki, panga vijana na polisi, ule anakuja, tutamenyana. What happened? On Tuesday, tulipatana na vijana na polisi. And mtu yote ile amesahau, nakumbuka kuna hii video ilikuwa ina go round, and the video literally had the police guarding goons. So wasoko na marungu na weapons were being guarded, while people who showed up with water bottles na vitu kama hizo were being attacked. So this is what was happening. So for these people to then turn around and claim that the governor did not, for the governor himself to turn around and claim that he did not plan this, he's not the one who paid this. We know you are rich. Of course, you're a full-time politician, a full-time governor, and your net worth keeps just going up and up and up and up. And we are busy wondering, like, what's happening? Of course, we look at Nairobi, still no services. I always talk about how many opportunities there are to create jobs in Nairobi. One of the places iloshindaga ikishika moto every 2 days inakuwaga ni Gikomba. Why is there no fire station next to Gikomba? Ama in the heart of Gikomba? That would create jobs. Another place that keeps catching fire, hapa Toi. But I think the last time Toi kule nini, umse alikuwa anarushiwa mawe, governor. Why not have another fire station there? But better yet, if you are a competent governor, there'd be at least 85 fire stations in Nairobi. Kwa every ward, kunafaa kuwa kuna fire station. But of course, you're not competent. And I don't blame you. The average Kenyan voter just can't vote for his own good. Najua, they vote against their own interests, and when you tell them they're voting against their own interests, they get caught up in their feelings, and then we are caught up in this thing. That's why, like, even right now, I might digress, but kuna msaliniandikia kaniambia, najua Matiang'i alikuwa anafanya extrajudicial killings, lakini unajua alikuwa na do job. Alafu niko like, the whole reason a lot of people lost Mr. Suchawi ni Maombi was because of extrajudicial killings. Before that, everyone was like, this is the second coming of Jesus. That's why he was called Nabii. Kila mtu alikuwa anamsifu. A few of us wale tulikuwa against this guy since day one, tunachukuliwa nikaa tumechizi. So if tulianza kufight msejo extrajudicial killings, we can't bring another extrajudicial killings guy because it's going to work. Who said, and this is something that atakujua na Kenya, nani alisema hauwezi fanya job bila kuua watu? Lazima uue watu ndio fanya job. Kianjokoma brothers, the Nakuru 4, Rivayala, Baby Pendo, you're supposed to just ignore this because this is the one guy who can be. No, there are other people who are competent. Just because they don't shout and just because they don't think that human life is disposable does not mean that they're not good leaders. They're just calm. But I keep saying, we need to move away from these old school politicians. Najua, just move kabisa. Let's go to a certain new school way of thinking where the law matters, where the police themselves can't shoot anyone kwa streets of Yovio just because they are thug. They have to go through the whole system. And where judiciary go faster. See story ya kesi moja mentioned today, mentioned tomorrow. It's nonsense. Because cases of corruption should not be mentioned. Zinafaa kuwa cases za Supreme Court. Najua, like zinaanza asubuhi mpaka jioni for a few days, evidence, enda jela, join YT2, and life continues. But you'll never find these politicians ask for that. And that's the reason why we need more like educated people pale. Not just educated, but more people with ethics, someone ethical. I don't know how to put it, but we need people with integrity, yes, in that August house, as they call it. So our watu ndio watu wanaweza come up na design one corruption is a national cancer. So since it's a national cancer, we need to deal with it haraka haraka. Hawachagi cancer is spread. Waga ikikuja tu hivi mnaidetect mapema alafu mnaitoa. So corruption cases need to be fast. They can't be things that takes 3 years. And then corruption case yoyote ile Mr. Renson Ngonga anabaki amesema itolewe, yeye mwenyewe anafaa kuwa investigated. Because there needs to be a certain level of certain threshold where a corruption case can't just be dropped because the DPP decides it's time to drop it. Nacheki. So ikikam to Sakaja, of course, one of the things that also stood out that day, and the fact that ama goons walikuwa wanakuwa escorted, pia ilifanya makarao waka feel like the government itself was anti-protesters. And this is the reason why I can clearly connect shooting ya Boniface Kariuki na hii nonsense ya Sakaja. Mi naweza connect hizo vitu mbili. Because bila Sakaja kuonyesha magoons that they can have their way, makarao pia wange feel like wana need to hurt innocent people, alafu wakinini to hurt innocent people as they guard the goons. So now we have a situation whereby uboy anaitwa Boniface Kariuki, kuna picha zake ziko zina go around, iliona cheki anasaidiwa kupumua, and just when you thought it can't get worse, because you can look at the photo and you see him up in the hospital bed. Now kulikuwa na more information, and the more information kuna kitu moja nilicheki that he was in surgery yesterday, so he's still alive, just not doing good. Then ikaendelea, kama mtu alikuwa ametumia mtu mwingine message akamwambia there was 7 surgeons yesterday and they don't think he'll make it. I think wanaonyesha there were. Then akamalisha, only one thinks he'll make it, and even if he does, most of his brain matter is out, so he'll still be unaware of anything happening. So boy, his life will never be the same again. And his life will never be the same because of the violence that was being meted out on protesters, so that they never have to protest again. And who was in the heart of all that nonsense? The governor. He can't walk away from that. Just the minute that akina Cleansy Barasa walikuwa natoka na wanajua tunafaa kugadaa watu wa rungu, but hatufai kujali juu ama protesters. Anyone else who's innocent and without a rungu became a target. And you are to be treated the way you are to be treated. And then, of course, with Kenya, when you think things can't get worse, they always get worse. So pia kulikuwa na hii headline ya Hoka Boniface Kariuki's hospital bill hit 1 million shillings, father conned 200k in raised funds. So budaki alichezwa zile games za kupigiwa na kusiju kuitishwa pin, and in the process akabaki amechezwa 200,000. But another thing is that hospital bill, the father just needs to take it to one door. This one guy who was busy sponsoring goons should be the one to handle this. And I think a message to the governor needs to be super clear. Those days of lying to us and us just believing, those days are gone, man. Mama zetu, see, we are not those ones. Mama zetu, we respect them because they made sure that we got educated. And as soon as we got educated, we became more aware. And we can see things. We know 1 + 1 is 2. Just because you show up and tell us 1 + 1 is 3 at in house, we are supposed to agree with you. No, we are not going to agree with you. Yes, you have gotten away with a lot of stuff. A fake certificate that made you governor, and watu wamekuachia tu. That's a crime. Kuna watu wanaenda jela for false earning. No one doubts that you can get your degree. Yes, you can get it, but you didn't get it. There's a difference. Just because you can do something, if you don't do it, don't claim that you did it. And of course, Uhuru could have proven that. So this also shows how incompetent Uhuru was, because all of a sudden now everyone wants to praise Uhuru as the greatest person to ever. No. He let a lot of bullshit slide. Yokutokena, we lose 2 billion per day. That was some bullshit. How are you losing 2 billion per day in a country that people are sleeping hungry and you just mnataka nifanye? That level of incompetence gave us this useless governor. And this useless governor decides that, you know what, the next thing he's going to do is unleash goons on his own, like on Nairobians. And there's clear evidence. And then comes out, when the goons have been overpowered, comes out to claim he's not the one who unleashed them. So now the next time I think the goons kuna vile watatafutwa. I think this time the goons being unleashed will be the police. If you had to ask me what's going to happen on Wednesday, the goons being unleashed will be the police. And apart from the police, the goons being unleashed will be the foolish ones who... tayari I think nishapata 2 death threats. Zile nimeambiwa nikienda kwa streets. One death threat was from the ulemse haizi stay away from fridge yake. Anaitwa Gaidho. Na apart from hiyo nimepata kuna fala fulani najita, I think the African Nazi, kitu kama hiyo. Aliniambia nikitokea kwa streets lazima ni bleed, lazima ni what. Kitu watu wanasahawigi, like mimi ni Mwafrika, I do what I want to do. And in situations where I feel like my safety is not guaranteed, I'll stay away. You think I'll lose anything? That kuna kufala itakuwa mwafu kutokea kwa streets, lazima nitoke. Hata nitoke kama mtu mmoja ama nisitoke. The fact that we've created this environment where if we don't agree on anything, we have to turn to violence means I'm not part of that. Mi wagani mtu na believe people can have a different opinion and those people should be able to sit. Kuna msali niuliza, mbona mimi na Rapture tuko na different opinion ikikam to what's supposed to happen on Wednesday? According to Rapture, on Wednesday they're supposed to have lunch at State House. According to me, that won't happen. Mwafu kwa nini? Because I've been here. I've always been on the opposition side. I'll be honest with that. That means I saw Moi must go. Moi didn't go. I saw Kibaki must go. Kibaki didn't go. I saw Uhuru must go. Uhuru didn't go. I saw Ruto must go. The difference between all these ones is Kibaki must go came after an election. So there was no way for him to go. Because alikuwa amerig and he had the police on his side. So of course he unleashed terror. Another thing that people like running away from. But Kibaki unleashed terror. A lot of people died. City mortuary ilijaa hivi. That's part of his legacy. 2017, straight after an election, Uhuru must go. Baby Pendo, Pamba, haraka kabisa. And hiyo time, Baby Pendo alidedishwa kwa hao. And don't forget, that time pia kulikuwa na nini tena. Matiang'i was at the helm. And Matiang'i was there. Mpaka ka threaten wase. Kambia wase, if you post any photos of dead people, you're going to be arrested. So, that happened. Did Uhuru go? No, Uhuru didn't go. Ruto, the best thing that's happened is Ruto must go is happening in his first term before an election, 2 years before an election. So we can plan ourselves and be ready for that. But we'd rather fight each other and tell each other, Buddha, since umesema hivi tusipatane kwa streets, takudedisha, lazima damu imwagike. Alafu lazima ujue, you have nothing to lose. Kuetigi Jay-Z. Jay-Z usemaga, if you shoot me, you're famous. If I shoot you, brainless. Kifalaka hiki kinani threaten kitokea kwangu. Alafu by mistake kibaki kimededi. The government will make an example of me. So am I supposed to be stupid because I need kuonyesha mimi ni real? I'm over 40 years old. I don't need to prove. I don't need gangster points. I use my head. I am very important to a few people, like specifically my family. And I'll always put them ahead of any gangster points. So hiyo siku, mimi nitakuwa kijani. Sikudanganya. That's my form of protest. Mtoi wangu, haendi chuo, of course. Wife, haendi job. Mimi nitakuwa kwa studio nikiwatch. And I'll still talk about it. Do I need to be on the streets and risk my life? Not from the police, but from some random Kenyan I don't know. Because so far nimethreateniwa na ninja sijui vile nakaa. Inaweza kuwa hata ni best yangu fulani. Because one thing ile nil notice, as soon as hiki tumufanya became bigger than a lot of people expected. Because nakumbukaga, like one of the conversations I remember is before we reached 1,000 subscribers, I still remember. kuna group fulani nakuaga where someone mocked me and kwa niambia vile umeanzisha podcast kwenda huko una waste time. So such people now, it became what it became. Right now I think we are close to 200,000. Of course kwa seka like damn. So ile chuki najua because we see Nini worship poverty. So there's that level of this guy is no longer in quotes struggling. So we need to hate him. So I know that level of hate. That's the sort of level of hate where fala inakwambia itakudunga. Sasa dungwa nenda pale tao mimi na ujinga sijui ni nani who's threatened me, niko pale nikiprove gangster points ndio fala fulani stranger ile sijui iseme hukutokea kwa streets wewe ni coward unataka Ruto aendelee una support Ruto. Leaving Nairobi empty is like Kimani Ichung'wah literally told us it's not a public holiday. If we turn it into a public holiday, even without bloodshed, it's still a win. Si lazima damu imwagike. Then mafala ziko hapo like hakuna kitu shai kuja bila damu kumwagika. Sawa, hakuna country shai rebuild from zero. Wewe since uko na death wish, endo dedi. Alafu sisi wala hatuna death wish, wala tutaki kuoccupy State House, wacha tukue. Acheki. And hata kikam tu historia kuoccupy State House. Another thing ile nimetoka kusema, Mseka Erupts anataka kuoccupy, mimi sitaki kuoccupy, yeye anataka kuoccupy. Yaki ameamua kuishia huko, ameamua kwenda huko. He's a grown up. He has to do what he has to do. And at the end of the day, tutakuwa mabeste still. Like unajua, tutakuwa mabeste. And hopefully, Raptor mwenyewe atarealize it's over 40 years old, so he should not be anywhere near running battles. Last time alipata hamstring. What's going to happen this time? And mimi nikibonga juu hizi vitu zote, Uhuru must go, Kibaki must go, what? I'm not discouraging anything. One, I'm just saying that hii constitution tunadharau, we still need to respect it. And the constitution says that a duly elected president serves for 5 years, whether you like him or don't like him. As I keep saying, vile Baby Pendo alikuwa anadedishwa, I was there with my own Uhuru must go. Kuna hii image moja that stayed as my profile picture. Ilikuwa ule boy moja amesimama mbele ya matank za manini za maji za makarao. Stayed for a very long time. So I've been here. I've seen all these must goes and I know how they normally end. And when people compare Kenya to Bangladesh, I also understand. But I'm a very big critic of religion. But I also understand the power of religion. So I understand the reason why Bangladesh can do things we can't do. A Bangladeshi man dying believes he's going to get 72 virgins. The sort of inspiration that pussy gives men is crazy. A Kenyan man dying knows he's going to get milk and honey. It's not the same. Umso wa milk and honey atasikia risasi moja atabaki amehepa. But still, Wednesday, in whatever way that you protest, as long as it's not business as usual, you've done your part. Do not let anyone force you that you have to do something to win gangster points. The main thing ile naweza kusihi, if you're a business person, please don't open your business that day. Make sure everyone can see it's closed so that akina Kimani Ichung'wah can know it's not business as usual. If you have a very small dream that unaweza occupy State House, knock yourself out. Just don't call other people cowards. Just because you're on a death wish does not mean everyone should join you. Maybe you have nothing to lose. And that's okay. If you're pushed to that level, which a lot of Kenyans have been pushed to the level of they have nothing to lose, I understand. My mother has buried how many? Madangu amebari watu wangapi? Madangu amebari watu 4. I'm not trying to be the 5th. Jua. And you can take it the way you can take it. If it happens, it happens. But it's not going to happen in a situation whereby literally raya mbili zimenithreaten na kifo. Lakini sana faa kwenda kwa streets. Ndio ni prove me ni gangster. Prove me siogopangi, sikuwa kava. Na hizi ni raya sijui vile zinakaa. Kuzata ile raya ili threaten Boni kinipata inaweza nidunga na sijui. Hiyo raya kinipata inaweza ni ham. Sijui vile inakaa. Because don't forget, all these are mostly cowards. The only person who at least I can give credit and say is not a coward is the Kanono. Kanono, at least unajuaga, he stands by his bullshit. Kanono atakuwa pale, but at least he stands by his bullshit. So him na respect. But hao wengine wale sijui vile wanakaa, that's a whole other story. On Thursday, come takuwa occupy State House on Wednesday, I'll be the first one to congratulate you people. But as I keep saying, mubongagajio pattern recognition. And through my pattern recognition, as I keep saying, I saw all this must go. And they all end the same. The only way to go is through the ballot. Hiyo story ingine yote, taking a water bottle to a gunfight, it's never going to work. So, and pia siwezi kuwa mtu yoyote ule hata advocate for military rule, because after must go ende, military wanaingia, shut down internet. How many people are going to lose jobs? Oh, you ndio kitu tunanid ndio change ikuwe. No, we just need in 2 years time we can change the whole system. We can get rid of all these tribal facts, all these incompetent people. We can get rid of all them without shedding a single pint or a single drop of blood. So how are we supposed to encourage people that dying is this noble thing? No. The first instinct as a human being is to live. That's why humans are born with 2 fears. Sound, loud sounds, and height. Because evolution knows that ukiruka kutoka huko unaweza vunjika, which destroys your chances of survival. Pop up! You need to sense danger. So that's your first instinct in survival. And this is the reality. In August 2022, a lot of you Kenyans, despite his history, a lot of Kenyans voted for William Samoei Ruto. And they said he was a blessing from above. They gave him power till 2027. In 2027, you have a chance ya kumtoa. Probability ya kumtoa on Wednesday is very low. That might hurt your feelings, but the probability is 1/1,000,000,000%. That's the probability. It won't happen. Just get that. Just know the only ticket in 2027. And it's the constitutional way. We don't want to be under military rule. I don't want to be under military rule. I prefer an incompetent Ruto anytime over a competent soldier. Don't bring me that G2 shit. Anaitwa nani huyo msee wa Burkina Faso? Kwani Burkina Faso? This is Kenya. And it's a whole different story. So, that's the reality. But nikimalizia, of course, Ruto, kama kawaida, as I keep saying, number 1, incompetent. Number 2, keeps lying. And there are lies that I understand. But such a lie where you lie to a grieving mother and you tell a grieving mother that you're going to make sure that she gets justice for her 12-year-old son. And you end up never calling this mother. That's a new level of law. Even for a Samoei Ruto. This I don't know how can we justify this? Najua. And I say, how can we justify this as someone who, of course, did not vote for this guy? Because we have to keep reminding the people who voted for him that you voted for this guy. Now, you can't be more pissed off than the people who didn't vote for him. Yeah, because kuna watu wanataka hapa kuwa more pissed off than the people who didn't vote for him. No, you are the one who voted for him. You said leaders come from God, and these are the consequences. But this guy keeps lying, and he's one of the saddest things niliona ni kile mother alikuwa anasema juu ya Ruto.
Wamama tunapitia uchungu. Kennedy Onyango alikuwa tumaini yangu, lakini kwa sasa Mungu atabaki kuwa tumaini yangu. Juu sioni hali yoyote, sioni haki yoyote ikipatikana. Hadi mimi hapa nilipigiwa simu na Dennis Tumbi akiniambia rais anataka kuongelesha mama. Nikashika simu akaongea, akaniambia mama Kennedy habari yako. Nikamwambia sio mzuri hata kidogo. Akaniambia sawa, nimesikia na nimeona na nitakuita. Tukae chini tuongee na nimekisua haki ya huyo mtoto imepatikana na nitakufanyia vile mimi nasafanyiwa kama msasi. Nawaambia saini 1 year. Hakuna kitu imefanyika kwa hii Kenya. Msidi mkituombe. Ahadi yote tulipewa, ahadi yote nilipewa. Hakuna yenye imefanyika.
So yeah, this is mother wa Kennedy Onyango. This is a small kid who was killed last year. He was not protesting. Kwa tuzo masaiza Rongai akabaki amededi. And I know kuna a lot of people who see nobility in seeking death. That kid did not seek death. That kid was just randomly walking somewhere na akadedishwa. na the same thing will happen here. Baby Pendo aliendewa kwa hao. Alafu pia during time ya COVID kuna boy fulani alikuwa kwa balcony Masoiza Isili kabaki amedidishwa. So these things have been happening, and this is what pisses people off when you tell them that these things have been happening. It's not a root of problem, it's a system problem. We need to uproot the whole system. So in 2027 kipanga ile line and you decide you're going to vote for someone who has been involved in these stories are extrajudicial, don't then turn around in 2028 wanza kublame watu for not joining you in your second death wish. Because I'm sorry, but Ruto, the earliest time Ruto atatoka 2027. Anything before that, there is a challenge letulifanya. Think before ni sahau. Kulikuwa na msa anaitwa Ndura wa Roinge, Prophet Ndura. Alibaki amepredict Ruto atatoka by the end of this month. Mika Prophet Habakuk nilisema Ruto atatoka 2027. Who's going to win? Let's wait and see. Iko nene.